Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another live. If you're new here, my name is Laken, and I go live every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern to answer all of your questions about goals, planning, life, whatever it is that you need some extra support with. I am here to chat and answer all of your questions. I say this every week, it feels like, but this is one of my favorite times every week. What started out as a let's kill time when we're all working from home 2+ years ago turned into a weekly staple in my life, in my business. And I hopefully feel like you guys feel the same way for some of you, whether you're here live chatting every week or when you're able to make it, or you always watch the replay. I appreciate all of you so much. So let's kick it off with our first question that I always ask, which is, what are you drinking while we're hanging out today? If you are here live, let us know in the chat what you're drinking. And if you are part of the replay fam, let us know down in the comments what you're drinking and or what you are doing while you are watching the replay. I just have a basic cup of coffee. I'm trying to be, again, a little bit more thoughtful about when and how much caffeine I'm taking in. So I know that this is the mushroom coffee from Four Sigmatic that I love. This is not near as strong in terms of caffeine as the cold brew concentrate from Trader Joe's that I love. Pretty much every day I'm having both of those things, but I have one earlier, if I have to stay up late, I have this in the morning and then the cold brew in like the late morning, early afternoon. If it's the other way around, like tonight, I'm trying to go to bed early. I had my cold brew this morning, and then I'm having this now while we are chatting. There's no Say You Think You Can Dance episode tonight, so going to bed early. All right, we've got water. Drinking nothing, just finished my Diet Dr. Pepper, green tea, Gatorade Zero, iced coffee, and water, lots of water. I also have my water handy as well. Lots of team water. I am so excited as well. Amy, hello. I'm so excited for this weekend. If you don't know what she's talking about, I am hosting a goal follow-through workshop, which I do have a little pop-up for. There are still tickets. If you do want to join, there are very limited number of in-person tickets. If you want to come join us in person, it is at 7 p.m. on Friday. It is it's like basically the edge of Brooklyn and Queens, which is more convenient for parking for those of you that are driving in. It's also a 5-minute walk from the train, though, if you are taking the train. And there are also virtual tickets available. If you are able to join virtually, you can join live, set aside some time on Friday night in your sweatpants, with your candle, and relax and go through the workshop in person or virtually live. You can also catch the replay. If you aren't able to join on Friday evening live, you will get an email with the replay link afterwards, and you can watch the replay. So if you have any questions about the workshop, the link is in the description box. You will be able to get tickets until the last second on Friday virtually. I am emailing out the workbook this afternoon if you're joining virtually. That way you have 2 days to get it printed. If you don't have a printer at home and you want to have it like a physical copy in your hands, it's not like the workbook is not going to make or break your experience. It's meant to be a guide, a place for you to write things down and follow along. It's also meant to provide you an outline if you want to go through this workshop at any later point. Like if you want to go through it again. Also a great place to take notes. So I'm going to be emailing that out this afternoon to everybody who is already signed up and ready to go. In-person attendees will get a printed copy. That's it. I think that's all I have to share. If you have any questions, let me know. But I'm also very, very excited for this weekend. Okay. Let's see. Room temperature black coffee. I feel that. I mean, this will probably end up being room temperature before we get to the end of this because I'll talk and not drink it. Oh, that's so fun. Your mom's 85th birthday. I love that so much. Yeah. Team replay. You have a whole week to watch the replay after it goes, after the live has ended. So you will have time to do that. Monica, thank you for asking. How's your family in Chicago? They're good. They are, they're not near where everything went down. I think it just was one of those moments that that kind of a suburb is not where you would expect that. Not that you should be expecting it anyway. That is not how I meant that to come out. But everybody is safe. Thank you for asking. I'm not going to harp on it. There is so much going on in the world. And if that is what you need and you want to talk about that, we can talk about that. But I also know that you're probably, if you're like me, doing a lot of that talking with your friends and family and your circle and outside of the internet, and that you're likely coming here to not talk about it. So that is why, especially on YouTube, and I actually have a clip coming up about this in an upcoming video. I don't typically bring up those kinds of topics here on YouTube. I will talk about them on Instagram. I do want you to know where I stand, but that's not where I think is the best place for you or me to process. Okay, that is all. What other questions do you have? What is on your mind? What are you struggling with? We are kicking off a new month, a new quarter, a new half. You still have so much time. I don't want you to feel like whatever you've done in the last 6 days or whatever you haven't done, because frankly, it's me and I'm looking at my power sheets, it's what I haven't done in the last 6 days. There's so much time. There's so much time. Oh, this is a fun recommendation, Tina. Pasta Louise in Brooklyn, if you want to get some fresh made pasta and yummy Italian food on Friday. I appreciate that recommendation. I don't know Brooklyn super well, so I would not have been able to provide a good recommendation. I probably would have provided you with a Manhattan recommendation and then taking the train. Because there's a restaurant I really love that's on the train that you will take to the location. It's in Manhattan, but that is a great recommendation for those looking for some place to eat on Friday. I love that. All right. What else? What questions? What is on your mind today? Amanda, I've got all my sticky notes ready for Q3, but it's just been a waiting game until we move into our house. It's really hard for me to wait and start 10 days in the month. You have so much time. You have so much time. I know that it feels like, I'm losing 10 days, but out of the course of a whole quarter, that's a lot of time, right? And I know that you just went through the HB90 bootcamp course, and I'm sure that she talked all about you were likely very realistic and you knew that was going to be the case. So once you get into your new house, you'll be able to get it all set up and get started. I'm proud of you for waiting, and you will be able to get started very, very soon. It'll be here before you know it. Amy, that's right. You're gluten-free. Okay. So, my favorite pizza place in Manhattan that I always recommend people go to when they're seeing shows, because it's near Times Square, it's called Don Antonio, and they have fantastic gluten-free crust. Now, I personally do not order said gluten-free crust, but my stepmom does, and it is fantastic. So if you do make your way into Manhattan, it is New York style pizza. It's actually more like Italian style pizza, but it's very good. The gluten-free crust is fantastic. I don't know about anything in Brooklyn though. Tina, my Facebook group is doing a step challenge this month. I'm so excited. That is so fun. I was just actually thinking about bringing a step goal back to my power sheets. I was inspired. If you guys also follow Justina, who I talk about a lot, she on her YouTube channel posted a video today about doing 100,000 steps in a week. That's a lot of steps, y'all. That's a lot of steps. And I watched that video this morning while I was getting ready. And then I was like, oh, maybe I'll add a step goal into my power sheets in August. We'll see. Christy, great question. What should you prep for the course on Friday night? You don't have to prep anything. Now, if I'm going to tell you the one thing that you need to know or would be helpful is to have at least one goal that you're going to focus on in the second half of the year, right? Likely if you're here, you probably have more than one goal that you're planning to focus on, and that's fine too. But you will need at least one goal to think about as we talk through the workshop. So that is all. That is all you need to have prepared. Nicole, weird question maybe, but do you ever think about forgetting all the routines and just loving? I'm assuming you mean the word living. Maybe it's not an accidental typo there, living life more freely and loosely. So I don't think it's a weird question, but I think that everybody is going to be different, right? Everybody's preferences and how they operate their life is going to be it. What works for you might not work for me, and what works for me might not work for you. So you might look at my life and think, wow, she's got a lot of routines and she's really into structure. But I will tell you, I also leave a lot of white space. I also leave a lot of space for being able to decide what I want to do in the day or in the moment. I leave a lot of time for that freedom and that looseness that you're referring to. But I also like the routines and structure because it gives me, for me, it allows me to be more relaxed during that free and loose time, if that makes sense. Because when I have the routines and the structure, I know that the things that are important to me are getting done either in the best time of the day, in the best order possible, whatever it may be. Like, those things are going to get done and those things are important to me. So the routines I set up are to prioritize those things. And then when I know that they're done and I feel good about that, then later in the evening, later in the week, later in the month, when I'm on vacation, I am able to not worry really as much about those things. So for me, it's a contrast of both of them that I feel good about the balance that I have between the two of them, as well as I think having the routines really allows me to enjoy that free time way more than if I didn't have those routines. And yes, you clearly meant living, but I think loving is kind of an interesting, maybe accidental typo. Oh, Audrey, hello from Ireland. I mean, someday maybe I will make it back over to Europe. And my dad and I, we keep talking about doing a family trip to the UK eventually, hopefully. Loretta, I am moving house and jobs within the next 2 months. I'm so excited for you. And I have no idea where to start with my July goals. So one of the things that can be hard is when you know that there's something changing, right? You know that change is coming and it's like, how could I possibly set a goal when I know that something is going to change in the whatever near future? And whether that change is next month, next quarter, or even next year, sometimes it's like, well, how could I possibly set a goal? So what I would encourage you to do is just think about what is important as it pertains to what you have going on, right? Maybe the goals are related to those things and you don't worry about any other goals until you get settled in those things, right? There was a point when I was going to go back to the office in person last summer that was going to be the priority and I wasn't going to worry about any other goals for that quarter except for getting myself back into the office. Like, that was it, because I knew that was such a big change that I didn't want to worry about any other goals surrounding that. I think also just reminding yourself that there are still a lot of things within your life that are within your control, right? It might feel like there's a lot that's not in your control right now. That's fair, given everything and all the changes that you have going on, but there are still things that are within your control. So picking something that is important to you that you can control and still taking the time to prioritize that. And also, last thought on this, don't fret about setting quarterly goals right now. Sometimes when we just have so much going on, if you've got a lot of big changes coming up, setting quarterly goals feels like way too much. You're like, I do not know what I want to do for the next 90 days. Don't worry about it. Focus on the next month. Heck, if you need to, focus on the next week and do not worry about setting further out than that. I feel like I tried to hammer this home a lot last month, and I just, in case it didn't sink in or anybody didn't hear it any of the other places that I said it, this quarterly refresh works if you don't have kids, if you don't work in the school system, which is not true for you, Loretta, if you don't, like, your life does not change at some point in the summer. But the fact is that for a lot of you, that is not the case. For a lot of you, you are probably better off with a refresh whenever the end of the school year was. So whether that was the middle of May, end of May, middle of June, and then another refresh when the school year is going to start back up again, right? If your life drastically changes, whether you, again, have kids or work in education, having it, like, doing the refresh right now just does not make sense to me. And then even other people I've said, if it doesn't make sense for you to do the refresh right now and you just are in summer mode and you want to wait till the end of July, end of August, middle of August, whatever works for you, just let that go. You don't need quarterly goals right now. That's the conclusion of all of that. I took a lot of minutes to say that. Oh yes, Amanda, I'm glad I'm not alone here. My mother asked me this question a lot because she loves that free and loose schedule, but not having no schedule is not relaxing for me. Me neither. I think it is ultimately a personality. personality thing. Ooh, Kelsey, great question. I just got married. Congratulations, team newlyweds. I'm really feeling the struggle figuring out where I'm at with my goals in other areas of life after being consumed with wedding details the last few months. Obviously, I completely relate to where you're at with this. And I will say jumping back into goals was very tough. I got lucky in the sense, going back to this quarterly refresh concept, that my wedding was 2 months before the end of the quarter, right? So I let myself have or 2 months, 2 weeks. So I let myself have those 2 weeks to just relax and do nothing. And then I reset for the new quarter starting April 1st. I would not try, kind of the same advice I gave to Loretta. Don't worry about setting super far future goals, right? Don't worry about where you're at, where you want to be. Start with one thing. Pick one goal that's important to you, whether that was something that was important to you before the wedding or just something that you want to focus on now. Pick one thing that you want to focus on and prioritize that and just start making progress with that. Start taking action, start building a little bit of momentum. And then once your brain wedding fog goes away a little bit, then you can start to think about what's next in terms of your other goals. It's nearly impossible to just immediately do that switch from wedding mode to okay, I'm going to go work on all of my goals. That's a lot to expect of yourself. So don't. Amanda, I'm setting up an office space in my new house. Does anyone have tips or ideas that you would do differently if you were setting up an office? I love this question. And anyone is welcome to chime in if they have any tips or thoughts for her, as a lot of us are now working from home and you probably have set up a home office in your house. So I would ask yourself, what's important to you in that space? Is it having a lot of desk space? Is it being towards the natural light? Is it maybe I'm just speaking? Those are the things that were important to me, right? I wanted as big of a desk as I could fit in the space. I wanted so much counter space. I wanted space on my desk. I wanted to be facing the natural light. That way I could do things like this without having, I haven't pulled out the artificial light since we moved into this apartment. I haven't needed it because I am literally facing a window and I have the most beautiful natural light. So that was important to me. It doesn't mean my back is to the door. And I know for some people, they don't like that. You want your face to the door, right? Is it important that you have space to display things, right? So for my stepdad, he collects little figurine houses when he travels. And so for him in his office, what's important is having space for those shelves and being able to put those up, right? That's what is important to him. So step one, what's important to you about the space? And then focus on that and let go of the other things. I think it's, again, kind of almost going back to that personality related to routines. Everybody is going to be different in what they want their space to look like and feel like. For me, it was being able to have a space that I could work and then also be able to see things and work efficiently, like my calendars. Yes, Krista, less stuff on my desk, more storage. I also just realized that you changed your name from what we were talking about last week. Am I making that up? I just want it to not be cluttered, clear desk and lots of books. Right. So think about what normally takes up clutter on a desk or on your desk specifically, and then make sure those things have a home, right? If that is important to you, make sure the things that normally take up clutter, whether that's a drawer, a separate shelf, a separate space, what are the things that normally take up clutter or create clutter, and then give those things a home. Nicole, do you think it was kind of hard to switch the theme of your channels from Plan With Me's sticker planning to goal setting? Were you worried about how it would be received? So I feel like I've talked about this kind of before when it comes to content. There's really two circles, right? There's the things that people like to watch and there's the things that you like to talk about. The ideal world is where they overlap, that Venn diagram space of where they overlap. And so I think if you spend all your time creating content that people like to watch, but you don't like to talk about, eventually people aren't going to want to watch it because they're going to be able to tell. And that's clearly what was happening with the sticker Plan With Me's, right? I was literally doing that just for videos. And it got to the point that it felt inauthentic and it was just more, it was more than I wanted to take on. And then at the same time, I was also realizing that I wanted to talk about something that actually was making a difference or was like helping other people. And not to say that just uploading Plan With Me videos and having those be either helpful from a planning standpoint or strictly a relaxing entertainment value for people, all the props to those kinds of channels. That was not going to be fulfilling for me personally. So I needed to also add in something else. Now I still upload a Plan With Me video every 3 to 4 weeks. So Plan With Me completely didn't go away. The sticker planning obviously did, but that's just because I don't do it anymore. And I've always wanted to stay as authentic as I possibly could online. Like yes, I edit things out, right? Yes, there are things obviously that I keep personal that I don't share, but I share a lot. And I don't ever want to share something that felt inauthentic. And at the end, putting those stickers down in those planners was very inauthentic to me. And I actually didn't like that at all. So I think for me, the switch was really easy. I think for other people, it maybe wasn't. I mean, we're still planning. We're just planning our goals. We're planning something specific instead of just general. And that's always going to happen. You're going to grow, you're going to change. I mean, we're going to evolve together, and either we're going to evolve together and you're going to continue to find value in my content and you're still going to want to hang out, and that's great. Awesome. Or we're going to grow apart and you are going to be like, no, I really just want to watch Plan With Me's, and I either don't need help with my goals or I don't want to set goals, and we're going to drift apart. And that is fine too. Like, that is totally fine too. I just got the sweetest message actually the other day from someone from Patreon who was leaving Patreon after 2 years. She was one of the very first people to join. And she sent me a very sweet message that was like, I am leaving, has nothing to do with you, but I am good. I'm in a good place. I don't feel like I need the additional help. I feel like I have learned so much in the last 2 years that I'm good and I can do this on my own. And like, that just made my day. Like, I was like, I am so happy for you. I am happy that you have gotten enough out of it that you feel like you can do this on your own. And like, I don't know why I'm getting emotional about that, but anyways, okay. We're gonna move on. Okay, Chris, I'm glad I'm like, we had this conversation last week about you changing your name for your new cooking videos. Okay. Yay. That's exciting. Loretta, what am I reading, watching currently? Amanda, somebody beat you to the reading question. Okay, watching. I'm rewatching Game of Thrones because I don't know. Well, let me take that back. I know why. We went on the Game of Thrones tour in Ireland. At the time, what did I just rewatch? What was I rewatching while we were in? I don't even remember now. While we were in Ireland and like when I was traveling, what I was rewatching. I was rewatching something. When we got back from Ireland, I finished that rewatch and then I immediately jumped into Game of Thrones because I just wanted to see the spaces that like we toured and all of that stuff. So that's what I'm working through right now. And then the only thing I watched that's on live right now is So You Think You Can Dance. Everything else is on like a hiatus pause. Reading, actually, so I finished the book I bought in Ireland. Not super excited about that. If you got the email newsletter that went out on Tuesday, it usually goes out the first Monday of the month. It was a holiday, so it went out on Tuesday. I didn't really love the ending of it. So I moved into another Colleen Hoover book. I'm reading Layla because it was part of Kindle Unlimited. Also not super into it yet, but I'm going to finish it. And then for nonfiction, I have really been struggling with the book I was reading. So I decided to give it a break. And I was like, I'm going to start a new nonfiction book and I'm going to be really excited about it. So yesterday, before I left for dance, I picked out a nonfiction book off of my shelf, and like one that I never read. And I had the physical copy and I was like, I'm going to start this on the train. And I did. And it was like, it's a pretty light read. And I got about 3 chapters into it. And I was like, this book is not for me. I don't know if you ever had that. I'm not normally, and especially with fiction, I'll power through, but nonfiction, I was like, this is not the book for me. The book is Get Out of Your Head. It was nothing against the book. It is very Christian based. The book is like Soundtracks by John Acuff, which is a book that I love, which he's also a Christian, but that book is not God focused at all. This book is. It's basically the same thing, except with a really, really, really heavy Christian focus. And that just it wasn't for me. So right now I don't have a nonfiction. I'm going to pick a new one off the shelf before I leave for dance tomorrow. We'll see what it is. Oh, Katie, the IKEA, like the Alex stuff, I wanted all that stuff for my office, all the like IKEA, like the desktops and the Alex drawers and all those things. When I was getting my office stuff, it was not in stock anywhere. I could not get it anywhere, so I finally just gave up. What are you the most excited for in the month of July? I mean, it is a toss-up between dance being back and Thailand for our honeymoon. I'm excited. Maybe not equally. I'm probably more excited for Thailand, but I am very excited to be back at dance. Nicole coming in with all the tough questions today. How do you deal with all the hate, drama, clicks in the planner community and the pressure to speak out on all social issues? I'm not going to go into this too much because this is, again, I am here to talk about the tough stuff. And I think it's important that we continue to talk about it. And if you follow me on Instagram, you know that I am not a quiet person when it comes to those kinds of things. That said, I do want you to come to my channel for positivity and happiness. And so I don't want to go into the drama. In terms of that, honestly, I'm not even, I hardly consider myself a member of the planner community anymore. I don't feel like I don't know. It's not important to me. The pressure to speak out on all social issues, I think that it is unfair I think the expectations for people to say something it's gotten a little bit out of control, especially because we're all human on the other side of it. And especially when these issues impact us, and even when they don't impact us, we still need time to process them as a human before I'm ready to share and say things out loud. So whether it's me or somebody else, give them time, and don't make assumptions that their silence means one thing or another. That said, I will continue to talk when I think it is important, or when it makes sense for me, something that I want to share. I'm also a very action-oriented person. And so I do particularly like to share when there's here's something you can do about it. The last thing I'll say on this, and then we are moving on, is I also, when things happen, I feel like the internet, especially Instagram, becomes a massive place of people sharing the same things over and over again, right? And you see the same things over and over again. I don't feel the need to share the same posts because you've likely already seen them, right? Not likely people on Instagram don't just follow me. So that's another reason why I'm very thoughtful in what I'm going to share about issues. Okay. Joanna, I clicked on the wrong one. Interested in learning about Enneagrams. Do you know of a good free test to see what you are? So fun fact, if you haven't heard me say this anywhere, I think I mentioned it in a vlog last week. We have a whole series of Enneagram videos coming to the channel while I'm on my honeymoon. There's going to be a video with an interview. Interview is really way too formal for what these are. They're chats with a member of the community of each Enneagram type. And I'm so excited about them. So I say this in pretty much every one of those videos. Take the test. The tests are helpful. The tests pretty much help you narrow it in from 9 to maybe 3. And then read about them. Read books, follow people on Instagram, get to know the different types, and then you'll really be able to figure out which one is the most important to you. And those videos. Watch those videos and you'll probably immediately relate to the person and their goal struggles, that you are that type. Oh, I'm so excited about them. Y'all, they're so good. Melissa, I kept thinking today was Tuesday. So that leads me to a question. I used to always post a reminder on Instagram, the live is today, 1 p.m. Let me know. You can either let me know in the chat if you're here live, or let me know in the comments if you're watching the replay. Do you find that helpful? Is me sharing it on Instagram reminding you helpful? If the answer is yes, would that be helpful to have it on Tuesday, 24 hours before, or Wednesday morning? I won't, no offense taken either way. I stopped doing it because I personally didn't think it was helpful for anybody, but I could be wrong. Right, Melissa? Maybe if you had seen it today, you would have been oh, today's Wednesday. What dances are you doing? Tap again. So unfortunately, I am not tapping. I actually realized, I guess I didn't share this anywhere on the internet. So The week leading up to auditions for dance, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, I am part of a dance company. You do have to audition every season for the pieces that you want to be in. The week leading up to auditions, they have workshops all week. They're $1. It's just meant to like come, get back into the studio, get the kinks out, like get a feel for dancing again. And really, somebody described it as like the first week of school. You get to see all your friends. It's like really exciting. So this season they had a tap workshop. So I was like, perfect. I'm going to go to the tap workshop. I'm going to put my shoes on for the first time in 6 months. I'm going to see how it goes. And we're going to see how it goes. And it didn't go. It did not go well. My foot that I fractured right before the show in October of last year has not given me any issues in months. I had no pain, no issues. I graduated from PT. I was good to go. And 15 minutes into a tap class and I was in pain. The muscles that your foot uses when you tap, they were not ready. They were not ready for tapping. So not at that level anyways, right? Like I'm going to have to, if I do want to tap again, likely start at a much lower level and get myself back up. So I'm not tapping. I am jazzing. If you did not see that on Instagram yesterday, I am doing a jazz this season. It is Broadway style, so it is not super technical in terms of jazz, and it's being choreographed by my friend Justina that I talk about all the time. It's to Six. Well, not the song is not called Six. It's the Ex-Wives. It's the first song in a musical from Six, and I'm really excited about that. And then my other 3 dances are all hip hop. But caveat to that, one of the dances is, which you may have also seen me post about on Instagram, is an African style hip hop that my friend Taylor is choreographing. And I am so freaking excited to learn more about that style, the history of it, and just like, and to the best of my abilities, do it justice. And I'm so honored to be a part of her dance. And like, I'm just really excited about that experience as well. So, and then the other 2 hip hop dances I'm in were people whose dances I was in last season. Two of the choreographers I was in last season. They're friends of mine. I'm in there. Those are my other 2. So, I'm excited. Okay, wow. I got really behind on comments while I was babbling a lot. Okay. Melissa, I did not get chosen to choreograph, if that was not clear at some point. Again, on Instagram, I shared I shared the schedule that they post, and I didn't get picked to choreograph, which is fine. Everything happens for a reason, and obviously I'm missing 2 weeks of rehearsal when I'm gone in Thailand, and like it's fine. I did want to choreograph, but like I'm also completely fine to just be a dancer and enjoy the season that way. You're welcome, Nicole. Thanks sometimes we got to ask the tough questions. Mia, I can prioritize when it comes to general tasks, but for goals, I'm having issues deciding on what to focus on. I let things slide and feel like everything needs a facelift. How do you focus, or at follow-up, decide what to focus on first? This is a great question, and you are not alone when it comes to struggling with this. And I'm going to start with an answer you're not going to like, which is there's no right answer, right? I cannot say start here, right? There is no right answer of where to start. That said, the best thing is to just start. So whatever that means to you, in terms of, maybe you start with the easiest thing. Maybe you start with the thing that you're going to be able to check off the earliest, right? The thing that needs the smallest amount of a facelift. Maybe you start with the thing that's going to take the longest because you want to get started on that. Maybe you actually start on all of them, which you can. You just have to pick really, really small steps. Now, I also did a whole separate video on prioritizing your goals, which I will leave linked after this is over. I think if you Google like Plan with Laken Prioritize, it'll probably come up. Go watch that again with your current goals in mind, because I definitely posted that video a long time ago. And when you watch a video for the first time, you're thinking about whatever you've got going on in that moment. So even if you already watched it, watch it again with these goals in mind. And then at the end of it, commit to yourself. You're going to pick where you're starting. You're just going to pick, because if we spend all of our time analyzing and trying to decide where to start, we'll never start. And so I would rather you start and then change your mind about what you want to focus on than keep evaluating and making lists and trying to prioritize. If that makes sense. River, what are a few things that instantly bring a smile to your face? I love this question so much. Okay. Charlie, for sure. Water, like being like not glass of water, like the ocean, the river, the lake, like water. Right now, all of my memories on like Facebook and Instagram are from our trip to Oregon. Why can't I talk today? Oregon from last summer, and gosh, the views there. Everything was just so beautiful there. Sam, I mean, when I haven't seen him in a long time, especially like that is, and Sam, when he gets all dressed up, like when we're getting ready for a wedding and like, freshly shaven, all dressed up, it always makes me smile. And I mean, dancing, like literally like stepping in foot into a dance studio. Melissa, this is a good point. Reminders on the weeks that it's not like you might get confused because it's weird because we had Monday off. Fair. Okay, Kim, Wednesday morning. Rebecca, usually replay fam, so reminders won't matter unless you go back to an evening time. Amanda, not on Instagram, so no vote for me. Ooh, Joanna, I struggle with procrastination, so I know how you feel. I have a video coming for you in next week, but the week after that, all about this topic. Is there a recent recipe you found from Julia that you have loved? I've been adding hers to my plan to eat and can't wait to get settled and get started. No, the one I tried from her last week was a salmon that I didn't really like. I have another salmon one that I like better, so I'm just going to stick with that one. And then what was the other one I tried that I was like, that's not it. I'm trying a new one today. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Not today, tomorrow. I was going to do it today. If you're in Patreon, you saw my Facebook post. I had that I was going to put dinner in the crock pot. I made a crock pot meal yesterday and the dishes have not been done. That's not my tour. So the crock pot was still dirty. So I just pivoted and I was like, I'll do what I was going to cook tomorrow. I'll cook that tonight and then I'll do the crock pot meal. Did Sam and I go watch the Macy's fireworks? No, we are not big fireworks people. Just not, I don't know. Honestly, like I kind of forgot they were happening until I was literally in bed at like 9:20 on Monday night. And then I started to hear frankly, I thought they were gunshots and then realized they were the fireworks because they were on the east side this year. So no, nope. Hello, welcome. I do these every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Amy, are you going to dance when you get to Chicago? I hope so. As far as my knowledge, there is nothing in Chicago like what I'm a member of in New York, which is, a company that was created for people who have dance training, but don't dance professionally and have other jobs, right? So they need to rehearse in the evenings, but then also still perform. I have never, I don't know of anything like that in Chicago. So now, will I keep taking class? Of course, absolutely. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens when I get there. I think I'm all caught up now and my coffee is cold. So that feels about right. All right, it's not cold, but it's room temperature. What else? Any other questions? I appreciate your feedback on the Instagram reminders. I think that's a good point. Just when it's a weird week, I'll make sure to remind. I used to try to make sure I reminded you with the actual link, but that's definitely not a priority. Amanda, this is a fun question. What's your go-to order when trying a new coffee shop? If they have cold brew on the menu, it's cold brew with half and half. If they do not, it is an iced latte. Unless they have some sort of special, if they're known for something. Also popping up on all my memories was we literally went to a different coffee shop every day we were in Oregon. And I tried some unique things there. They were really into lavender flavored things. There's a lavender honey. And then there was another honey something that I tried while I was there. So it also depends on when I'm having the coffee and what's going on, right? If if I'm eating with it or I just want plain coffee, I don't want sweetened things. But if it's a treat, a dessert almost, then sometimes I will get something fancy. having a good grip on some project, but so many ideas keep coming and I want to start on all of them. I also don't want to rush the main ones because I still want them to have quality. River, I completely get this and I can relate so much. So a couple of things that I do to help with that. Number one is always having a space for that running idea list. When you come up with a new project idea, do not start on it right away. So because you have already prioritized what you're working on. That I actually might need to rewind a little bit and say, this is why having a plan is really important to me. Going almost back to that routine question, because otherwise I would constantly be getting distracted by new ideas and new shiny objects, right? So whether you are planning out projects a month, a quarter, a week, what that was obviously all over the place, but like whatever you decide to plan out your projects based on. Then when you come up with a new idea, whatever you have planned out, whether that's a week, a month, or a quarter, don't mess with that. That plan is set. You're not changing it. Put that project idea on a list for like the next time you're doing it. I do this with goals too, y'all. Like if I come up with a new action step, I'm not adding it today, right? Like I'm going to put it on an idea list for whether it's the next month, the next quarter, the next year. Same thing with projects. Then when that time rolls around to refresh, then I look at those new projects. Sometimes that excitement's still there. Sometimes it's worn off enough that I'm like, oh, I'll just wait. I'll wait until it's time to work on this. Sometimes I'm like, wow, I'm glad I didn't start that. Cut it off and not worrying about it. So again, making your plan, sticking with your plan for the amount of time that you've set it, putting that project idea on another list for when it is time to reassess the plan. I hope that made sense. That's what I'm doing anyway. That works for me. Melissa, is there anything you know for sure you'll be doing in Thailand that you're looking forward to? I mean, honestly, I'm looking forward to just having some downtime and like resting a little bit. I know obviously we're going to be doing a lot of things and we do have some tours booked and a lot of like things that we want to do while we're there, but we also plan to leave a little bit of downtime and space. Because we're not good at that in our regular lives. And we didn't do that in Ireland. We squeezed in as much as we could. And I'm excited to like have a little bit of downtime. I'm excited about the beachfront property. That was like the most important thing for me. I researched what feels like every option on the island we chose. Carrie, any good suggestions on getting back into working out after an injury? So many ankle sprains this summer. What Amanda just said in terms of talking with your doctor, that's what I did with my injury, was just asking my physical therapist, what do you recommend? What do you recommend that I do? Listening to my body. If it started to hurt, I stopped. And then like just starting small, right? Start like you're not likely going to be able to do what you used to do before to the same extent of time or strength or weight or whatever it is. So you're going to have to start small, but that's better than nothing. And try not to compare yourself to your prior self. Joanna, I'm still recovering from COVID, so my energy is low. I'm struggling to work out which goals to prioritize and which ones to drop. So first off, you're recovering, right? That is something that your body has never experienced before. You are working through that. I'm proud of you for realizing that you're going to have to drop something. Like you're not going to be able to do everything and that it is what it is. In terms of what to prioritize and what to drop, what physically can you do, right? I see your follow-up question is dropping your physical health habits and work on your book. If that physically is what feels like you can do that, then that's the answer, right? I would say right now, it's less about what's more important and more about what can you do with the energy that you have and prioritize that. Did you find the breakfast much different in Ireland than the US? I mean, they had obviously some unique differences. Getting a full Irish breakfast with like beans, that's not something that we find here in the US, but I like in terms of like breakfast sandwiches and stuff, it was pretty much the same. And the coffee was always very good. Except the whole like sausage roll thing. At pretty much every coffee shop we went to, I got a sausage roll, except the first time when they put like that ketchup on it. And I was like, I don't want this on any other time. I just want the roll. No ketchup, please. Mia, I think it was a while ago you used the Peloton app before having the bike. Do you suggest starting with that if you aren't sure about the bike yet? So yes and no. I did have the Peloton app before having the bike because I didn't have space for the bike. I think if you're unsure about the bike, it's less about, like, I don't think the app is going to help you figure that out. I think it's, do you like spin classes? Like, do you like taking spin classes? And really the only way to figure that out is to take them. So I feel like most major cities, now if you live in a small town, this might not be an option, but most major cities have some sort of cycling studio. Take a spin class somewhere else and see if you like that form of exercise. That I don't think just trying the app is going to help you figure out if you want the bike, if that makes sense. I did like having just the app for the workout classes. Like I liked being able to do the strength classes and all those kinds of things and the walking classes. And then when I am in a place that has a bike that's not a Peloton bike, like when I'm at my mom's apartment, and there's a bike in her gym, I can just use my app and do a spin class on that bike. So you could do it that way, I guess. Actually, that's an option, right? You could sign up for the app and then you could try out the classes on other bikes and other gyms. I will say that is not the same experience as doing it on the Peloton bike. It's obviously better doing it on the actual bike that it goes with than doing it on a different bike. But I do think that is, it's a good way to kind of test it out. But ultimately it's, do you like to ride a bike as a form of exercise? And if the answer is no, then don't get the bike. Oh, Shani, I feel like I'm living in limbo while trying to figure out life in a city and all of the life changes, and I'm losing all the progress I've made on my routines. Okay. The reminder for you is it's temporary, right? Like you are in this phase that you are working through things. You are living in limbo. Like you are in the middle of things. Even if you stopped doing all of your routines, you are not going to lose all the progress. Right? Like this is an all or nothing issue. You're not going to lose all the progress. So even if you are like, I'm going to stop doing all my routines until I get settled, you're not going to lose all the progress. Now, I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that you're not going to lose some of the progress. You are going to lose some of the progress. But the good news is that you know how to build back up those routines, right? You did it the first time you built that routine. Now, it took you months because you layered on one step at a time, but eventually you did. And then I want you to think back when you went on vacation. And when you came back from that trip and you built it back up again. It's helpful that I know a lot about her life. I can give you very specific answers. It's the same thing. It's the same situation. It's going to take you time to build back up to that routine, but you know that you can do it. So if trying to do some modified version of them while you're in this phase is putting more stress on you, more worry than it's worth, just let them go. Let them go and have the confidence that when it's time for you to get back to it, you will be able to get back to it. Yes. You forget about all the times that you've done it before. You'll be able to do it again. What is everyone looking forward to for this next week? I love this question, Amanda. If you're here live, let us know in the chat. If you're watching the replay, let us know in the comments. For me, it's the workshop on Friday. I'm so excited. Amanda, I love this question. Do you feel like you can formulate goals any time of the year? Was thinking about getting the Moxie Life and starting now. Yes. You can absolutely start goals any time of the year. Anytime. Sure. Is January a beautiful time for fresh goals and a fresh start? Sure. Absolutely. There are 6 months until January. 6 months. You can accomplish so many things in 6 months. I absolutely encourage you to just get started. Absolutely. That makes me very happy. Oh, goodness. So many questions. Anything else? Anything else you need help with? You're struggling with? All right. If you don't have any other last minute questions, Oh yeah, this is also an option from the other Amanda. I'm only going to be living in my house for 1 year. So I set new yearly goals going from July 22 through June of 2023 because it fits better with your life. I know somebody else that's a member of the Patreon community is doing that because her birthday is at the end of June. And so she like does it for her year, her life year. The other Amanda who asked the question, you could either set 6-month goals or 5-month, 5.5-month goals that you want to by the end of 22. You could set a year-long goal. You could set 1 month at a time, right? There are so many options that you have that it doesn't have to be, because you're setting them in July, it doesn't have to be any kind of certain way. There's a lot of options you have. I see some of the things that people are excited about: getting the keys to your new apartment. Yes, yes, yes. Getting your household things delivered to your new house, dinner with your bestie that you, wait, where did that one go? I tried to click on it, that you haven't seen in over a month. Yes, also this. I love having an all over vision for the year, but get really specific quarterly. Absolutely. I was just telling somebody that too, one-on-one, who were working on a business goal for her. And that was a breakthrough she had, was like, she doesn't need yearly business goals. To her, it just doesn't make sense for her business right now where it's at. She's just going to set quarterly goals for her business. You could totally do that as well. What made you choose Thailand for your honeymoon? Great question. So we really wanted to prioritize, these were like the things. Number one, far. Likely we were going to go far, because what I have heard is that once you have kids, it is much harder to go further. So we knew, like, I originally had proposed like Italy or Greece, and he was like, no, we're going further than that. Number two, we wanted somewhere that had a good balance of adventure and tour, like history and tours and unique things, but also the beach. I wanted at least a couple of days where we could just like sit on a beach and relax. And then I guess that was both of them together. I wanted there to be a beach, but then we also wanted there to be things to do where we could like adventure. We both really like food when we travel. We like touring like historical things. We're going to see so many temples. So that is, that's how we ended up with Thailand. And ideally, the other thing is I want it to just be one country. We are moving around a lot. We are not staying any less than 3 days in one place, but we are staying at 5 different places. And I didn't want to have to like deal with customs and like passport and like that kind of activity more than just once. I wanted to get into the country. I wanted to, like, we get into the country, we're there, whatever, especially with all the changing COVID regulations. I want to just get there. And then we are obviously moving around Thailand, like we're flying around Thailand, but we're not leaving the country until we leave. So, oh my gosh, Monica, I'm meeting you. I'm so excited. So excited. Da, 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 da. Audrey, would the workshop be helpful for someone with a weight loss goal? The workshop is not specific to any particular goal. It is the general concept of following through on your goals. You are going to go through it with the mindset of one goal that's important to you. It doesn't mean that you can't apply the tools to all of your other goals. So there is no the answer is yes, but it's not like, it doesn't mean that it's not good for someone with a different goal, right? Whatever your goals are, you're going to get something out of it in terms of following through on that specific goal that's important to you. I know in Ireland it's in the middle of the night, so you wouldn't be able to join live, but you could be team replay. Ooh, there's a great cooking school in Chiang Mai. If you love Thai food, I learned a lot. I don't know what the name of, if you know what the name of it is, Jordan, I would love to have that recommendation. We definitely want to do a cooking class. That's one of the things we haven't booked yet, because we were going to ask our various hotels for recommendations, but we do have space in Chiang Mai. So I would love that recommendation. Mia, are there check-ins after the workshop? So for this workshop, no, it's just the one-time check-in. You have the workbook that you can work through when you need to for future goals that you want to apply it to, but there are no set check-ins with the workshop. Okay. All right. I think I'm all caught up on questions. I am going to flip it back to you and ask you my last question. which is always, what is one thing you're going to do this week to make progress on your goals? It doesn't have to be huge, but what is the one thing that you are going to check off this week to move the needle, even if it's just a tiny, teeny bit, on your goals for the month, the quarter, the year, whatever they are. I want you to let us know. If you're here live, let us know in the chat. If you are, if you're watching the replay, let us know. Oh, there's also a Thai cooking school in Phuket. We're not actually going to Phuket. It's rainy season right now, so we are staying on the east side of the east side of what? I don't know. We are staying in a different island than that because of the rainy season. Lisa, the workbook will be emailed this afternoon. If you signed up, you will get the email this afternoon with the workbook. I am putting the final touches on it after this is over. Okay, action steps. Unpack, yay. Not stressed about getting up early. Yes, let go of that. Let go of that stress for sure. Dragging your feet with cleaning, so vacuuming your bedroom. Small steps. Revisit your goals. Yes, Rebecca, you've got this. Rejoining Patreon. I'm so excited to have you back. You're going to book a month off from work to work on your book. Joanna, that's huge. That is so exciting. Oh my God, I'm so excited for you. Read at least 30 pages a day. You're on a 16-day streak. Sarah, that is quite the streak. That's amazing. Organize toys and move your office to another room in your house. Megan, that's exciting. Finish the top of the quilt that you're sewing so you can move on to your others. Work off each day that you're off of work. Rearranging your furniture. Oh, I feel that. That physical reset is huge. Yes. Uma, write your declutter list and then start tackling a trip to NYC. Yes. Enjoy your family vacation. Oh, Crystal, I hope that you guys have so much fun on your trip. Y'all, I always love hearing about your action steps. I love how different everybody's goals are and that we can all come together and be excited about them and talk about them together. Y'all are the best. Thanks for always filling my cup in this hour together. If you wouldn't mind giving this video a thumbs up before you head out, I would greatly appreciate it. And if you're new here, click that subscribe button. I upload new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, focused on helping you achieve your goals. Thank you so much for watching.